All right, hey everyone. So this is Lab 3 walkthrough. This lab is about alcohols and phenols. So you should be already here in the survey course before you start working on this lab, just so you understand what we're talking about and what we're going to be doing in the lab report. Part of that includes being able to draw the molecules and being able to predict oxidation reactions and being able to classify the different alcohols as primary, secondary, or tertiary. And so you should already be at this point. This is the walkthrough, so you should have already uh, went through the pre-lab discussion, learned a little bit about what we're going to be doing. The pre-lab discussion is slightly different and older than the actual lab. So I had to go in and create a new PowerPoint and a couple videos that Jamie, the lab coordinator and teacher at Columbus State, also helped with, as well as Dr. Dabke, I think, is in a couple of these. So let's go ahead and run through the PowerPoint. Before I get there, I want to mention something about Chem 21 Labs. Okay, so this is the molecule creator or program that we use to build different types of molecules. Now, you've done this in prior labs, but I just want to make sure that everyone is on the same page with kind of how to work this. So this is later on in the lab. I'm not going to scroll up because I don't want to show you any answers. But for this one, they want me to draw pentanol. Okay, so a pentane with an alcohol. That's what a pentanol is. And then the one just signals which carbon it's going to be linked to. So this is how you should be drawing your molecules. You just pull a line away. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 5 for a pentane. Um, and now I just want to show you that if I want to create if I want to add a carbon off of any part of this chain, I just go to the carbon that I want to add to and click it, and it'll automatically add. Uh, the different atoms are up here, so if I wanted to add an oxygen, let's say it's at the 3 position. So this was 3. Say they asked for 3 pentanol, I could add it right here. They asked for 1 pentanol, so I'm going to come to the 1 position, add an alcohol there. Okay. Some other things I can do, I can start with a water. Let me back it up. I can start with a water and then add my carbon from there. Say I know it has an alcohol, so I can start from there and then add however many carbons I need to add. All right, whatever way you do it, it doesn't matter to me. I just want to show you all the options. When you're doing a ketone or an aldehyde, right, I can go to that bond and double click where the oxygen was, the alcohol functional group was, and it'll make a double bond. I double click again, it'll make a triple bond. Now that's not theoretically going to happen, but just to show you, that's how you make the bonds. And you go to the atom if you want to add a molecule off of the atom. All right, what else? The rings, obviously, you know about, right? If I want to do a phenol, for example, I can do that benzene ring, come add an alcohol there. Uh, this would be a cyclohexanol if I were to add an oxygen there. Oh, sorry. If I want to oxidize this alcohol and make it a ketone, I go to the bond in between and click it again. Okay, so that's how you make the double bond. I just want to show you all these little tricks. You'll get better at this. It's a little tricky when you first getting started using these type of programs, but you get better and better at it as you go. Okay, so I just wanted to show you all that before we kind of jump into the PowerPoint. Now I've loaded the PowerPoint onto Cougar View, but your best option is download it. Okay, download it and then open it with Microsoft Office. Since Columbus State has changed their email servers to Microsoft, you have access to Office 365 online, so you can log in to your Microsoft account, open up PowerPoint there, download the file, and then open it through PowerPoint. Um, it just takes a really long time to load through Cougar View, and sometimes the videos don't work. So, and you see, this is kind of jumbled. Stuff like that happens when you try to open it with Cougar View. So, I recommend downloading it, open it with PowerPoint. All right, which is what I have done. So, let's get into it. You can obviously load this up on your own and go through each one individually. I think it will have all of the information there, but I'm just going to do it on my walkthrough to make sure that you don't miss anything or highlight the important points. Okay, so this follows directly along with your lab report. So part A will be the structures of alcohols and phenols. It'll ask you to draw, like we were just doing on Chem 21, these molecules. And Jamie builds them here and holds them up for you. So I'll let her show you that. This is an ethanol. The blacks are carbons, the whites are hydrogens, and the red is oxygen. All right. Next is 2-propanol. All right. The blacks are carbons, the red is an oxygen, whites are hydrogens. All right. 2-methyl 2-propanol. Oh, and you're also asked to identify these as primary, secondary, or tertiary. And that's just how many carbons are attached to the carbon that the oxygen is attached to. Okay. Like I said, you should have already worked on this a lot in ALEKS, and then we discussed it in the pre-lab as well. So you should be familiar with the primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols at this point. If not, revisit those topics before you get into the lab. Otherwise, you'll lose easy, fairly easy points. All right, so now phenol. And those are double bonds, so we call this a benzene ring. Conjugated double bonds. They kind of share electrons through the whole ring, and it makes the chemistry of a phenol much different than um, other molecules. All right, next. All right, so that will get you through part A. Like I said, you'll be drawing a lot of molecules on the little creator, the molecule creator on Chem 21. This is just about answering different questions on the properties of each of these different substances. So it's the same substances that you drew in the part A. So ethanol, 2-propanol, 2-methyl, 2-propanol, cyclohexanol, and phenol. For the unknowns, you're only responsible for unknown A. So that'll be the only one that you need to worry about. Just do unknown A, and that ought to make it pretty easy. So a bromine test was done to determine the pH of these compounds. So here are the strips, and you just kind of match up the color. I like to look just inside that outer ring. So, for example, this first one looks like about a 6, a 5, or a 6. I'll accept either one. This one here, and they line up with the compound right above it on the tube. So number 3 is a 2-methyl 2-propanol. That one looks a little more acidic, So like in the 4 or 5 range. This one is getting even more acidic. It's not quite red like this one, so we'll call it 2 or 3. This one is probably a 1, and then I'll let you decide what you think the unknown is. All right, so you just kind of follow along that slide to do your acidity. And now here is solubility. All right, I'm going to let this play out. Um, it's kind of hard to see these once she's mixed them up, but you will notice an obvious difference in the ones that are non-soluble from the ones that are. Okay, so I'm going to let this play through, and I might just skip to, okay, so yeah, I don't see any obvious, there's nothing obviously different about any part of that. So we'll say that one is soluble, and that's going to be all the help that I give you from here. This is number 2. All right, so make notes in your report about that one. Still number 2. All right, here is number 3. This is 2-methyl 2-propanol. All right, so make your notes about that. Here is cyclohexanol. Okay, so there is a clear delineation there, right? There's something different up top as there is on the bottom. So we call this one unsoluble. She's making sure that you see that. All right. And while that's cloudy, I don't see 2 different levels. I don't see a water line and then alcohol line. So I'd say that one is soluble as well. And here goes unknown A. So this experiment really is kind of a dead giveaway for unknown A. So you ought to know at this point exactly what your unknown is. And then she goes through unknowns B, C, and D, but I'm not really concerned about that. So we'll just continue on. Next up, we have the oxidation of alcohols using chromate. Chromate is a powerful oxidizer and can oxidize anything besides a tertiary alcohol. I should say it can oxidize a primary, secondary alcohol and turn them into a ketone. Okay, but it can't oxidize a tertiary alcohol because there's no hydrogen to pull from. Now, this is part of the pre-lab discussion in the lesson from lecture. So uh, take a look at it, make sure you understand why that is. But just remember that a chromate solution will oxidize primary and secondary alcohols, but will not oxidize a tertiary alcohol because it has no hydrogen to pull from. Uh, it has no hydrogen to pull from the carbon atom connected to the alcohol. And so she adds the solution to all of these and lets them sit for a couple of minutes. I'm going to skip through because we're just concerned with the results. Oh, it's not loading in fast enough. Okay. I'll just let it play through then. So this is cyclohexanol. Notice that it's green. So the chromate solution is kind of a yellowish orange. Um, Oops, she messed up. Don't do that. Okay. Now on the phenol, the chromate solution is kind of a yellowish orange. So if a reaction occurs, it'll turn a different color. Okay, either green or brown. If it stays yellowish orange, then there was no reaction. Okay, and this is the unknown A. This is the only one that we're concerned about as far as the unknowns go. So there is your reaction, and that's all you need to see, right? So what we have here, ethanol, 2-propanol, 2-methyl, 2-propanol, cyclohexanol, and phenol, and then our unknown A. So that'll give you all the information you need to complete Part C. Um, Part D is an iron chloride test, and Jamie will add 5 drops of the iron chloride solution to each, and then you will record your observations based on each test. All right, that's all we need to see. Ethanol, 2-propanol, 2-methyl, 2-propanol, cyclohexanol, phenol, and unknown A. All right, so record your observations, and that should get you through everything in the lab. As I said, you can. So you'll have for part E, you just record all of the information that you found out about your unknown, and tell me which the unknowns are one of the 5 things tested here today. You will tell me which one you think it is, and that's pretty much it for the lab report. Let me just kind of double check. So this is what we were doing there. Part D, the iron chloride test. You'll list the color after 2 minutes. Enter in number 1 for unknown A, and then all of your information on the unknown here in part E. So that's it for lab 3. Good luck with everything. Email me if you have any questions, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.